So if you find this sleep story helpful or interesting, then give it a thumbs up, leave any comments that you've got below, and if you aren't already, subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so you can receive notifications of when future sleep stories go live. I have dozens and dozens of stories already on my channel that you can go and search. I also release new stories every single week, so I hope you enjoy this story. So as you listen to this, you can just take a moment to close your eyes, get yourself comfortable, and begin to relax. And as you begin to relax, I don't know whether you'll relax faster with the sound of my words or the spaces between my words, or whether you'll begin to relax deeply to each out-breath that you take as you listen to this story in the background. The story is about a couple who go away for a trip to a deserted island. They decide that they just want to have some peace and quiet. So they travel to an island in the middle of nowhere, somewhere they know they won't be disturbed. And it's a reasonably large island. It has some woodland, it has some mountains, plenty of coast, and the most beautiful sea. And they have a little hut on this island, quite a simple hut that they're staying in. And the island is reasonably warm, so they don't need much here. And every morning they leave the hut, and they go and they sit by the sea. They don't say much to each other, they just enjoy the company, enjoy the solitude, the peace, the sound of the sea rolling in, feeling of the breeze on their skin, gazing at the sky, relaxing deeper and more comfortably. And as they relax comfortably, so they just enjoy being in the moment. And every day they make a trip to the woodland, gather some wood that they can use to make a fire, to cook some food. And they make the fire about the middle of the day, and they keep that fire going through till the evening as the sun sets, and they rest on the seafront by the fire with the sun setting, with the only light being the twinkling stars and the crackling fire with dancing shadows, just relaxing, listening to the sound of the waves and enjoying each other's company. And then one day, during their time on this island, they go exploring in the woods. And as they walk away from the shore and head deeper and deeper into the woods, so the sound of the waves begins to fade into the background. And while the sound of the waves fades into the background, they begin to notice the rustling of the leaves in the trees as the wind blows a breeze. And they follow a path into that woodland. a path likely trodden by deer over many years. And they follow that path into the woodland. And they can hear the sounds of the birds. They can notice how it's darker in the woods than outside the woods. And the sun shines through the canopy above, with shards of light dancing around in the woods. And after walking for a while deeper and deeper into the woods, they discover at the foot of the mountains that there seems to be an artificial cave, like someone has built something on the edge of the mountain that goes into the mountain, and there's a door on that cave, and the door is covered over as if to conceal it, and they don't know how long this has been here. But they decide to investigate, and they uncover the door, and it's a wooden door, and they feel the weight of that wood as they get a sense of whether it's going to push in or pull out. And they push on it at first, and then realise that it seems like maybe it needs to pull out. So the two of them pull that door open. And then they walk into that cave. And they see some steps leading down inside the cave. And they shine the torch on their phone down the steps. They can see there are 20 steps, and the steps are steep, so they decide they need to hold on. So they put their phone away and they count themselves down those steps, 20, 19, 18, going deeper and deeper, 17, 16, 15, 14, going all the way, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, going all the way deeper and deeper, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all the way to the bottom. And once they reach the bottom, they get their torches out again, and they shine their torches around, and they see that they're in a tunnel. So they follow that tunnel, noticing how the sound is so much quieter down here, how the sound is all muffled and doesn't really echo off the sides as they walk along, being aware of each footstep they take, going deeper and deeper. And as they walk deeper and deeper into the cave, so they feel a greater sense of relaxation, almost like something about walking into this cave fills them with deep relaxation, as if there's something relaxing about the cave. And after a while, walking deeper into the cave, they find that it comes out into a large chamber. They explore in that chamber, and they see that there are some old torches here, sticks that can be lit. And so, using a lighter, they light those sticks and light the chamber. And when they light the chamber, they notice that the ceiling to the chamber is almost like a mirror. It's covered in reflective crystals, and those reflective crystals reflect that light further around the chamber and back down towards the ground. And in the middle of the chamber, they see a hole in the floor. And they walk over to that hole and see a ladder. And it's a reasonably wide hole, and so they can see down there and see that there's another chamber beneath this one. And so they descend that ladder deeper into the cave. And they light the torches in this chamber. And this time, the reflective crystals are around the walls, and the light bounces around the walls, illuminating the chamber. And in the middle of this chamber is a small black plinth, and on that plinth is a red crystal. And they walk over to that red crystal. And as they touch the red crystal at the same time, the crystal twists in their hand, and as it twists, suddenly light from the walls catches that crystal, and a red beam of light starts bouncing around the walls to a point on the wall. And they walk over to that point, push the wall where that red crystal was pointing the light, and the wall slides open, and they walk through where it slid open. And in the middle of this chamber is a light they don't know where it's coming from, coming straight down in a straight line in the middle of the chamber. And they both walk over, and they both stand in the light, and they hold each other close, and they feel the comfort, they feel the warmth of the light. They notice how comforting that light seems to be. And they both have the same experience of something like the light passing, healing energy down through their bodies, from the top of their head to the tips of their toes. As that light touches the top of their head, as if it's passing down through their body, down their shoulders, their neck, their arms to their fingertips, down their body, down their waist, down their legs, all the way to the tips of their toes. And they feel such a serene sense of peace and calmness and connection. And they both close their eyes and allow themselves to be absorbed in the experience. And as they get absorbed in the experience, so they begin to have this sense like they're no longer in the cave, like everything outside of that light is changing. And they feel like they're opening their eyes, although they think their eyes are still closed. And remaining within the light, they look outside of the light. And remaining within the light, they look outside of the light. And they watch as events seem to unfold, as if they're watching history unfold around them as observers within this light. And they watch people making campfires, living in makeshift homes. They watch as history unfolds off into the future, seeing the present as things are now, and then seeing as things may be. And they take this all in. Watching how things evolve, watching as mankind outside the light becomes spacefaring, watching as ships launch into space to travel the stars, watching what can be. And then the light fades, and the couple look at each other, curious about the experience they've just had, curious about whether they've genuinely just seen humanity go from the beginning of civilization to reaching for the stars and beyond Earth. And they find their way back out of the cave. They seal the door behind them. And they head back down to the beach. And back at the beach around a campfire, they talk about the experience they've just had, trying to understand the experience, its meaning, who created the cave, where it all came from, whether they had just shared a hallucination or whether what they'd just experienced was real, and whether that's even important. And that night they went to bed and drifted asleep in each other's arms. And the next day, they were still so moved by the experience they had had. And they started trying to think about how that will shape them as people, how it would shape someone to have an idea of what the future could be. and to have an idea of all of the hard work that went into getting to that future, to humanity surviving and thriving and growing and developing and evolving, to be able to be that future. And they knew that this event was going to transform their life in ways they could never know. And they thought it was the most awesome experience they'd ever had, the most awe-inspiring. And they continued with their holiday, continued with their breakaway, and they took some time to go out on a boat on the sea, to do some fishing, to walk along the beach, hand in hand, to sit on the rocks, just talking as the sun set, as the moon rose, as stars shone in the night sky, to lie on their backs on the sand and watch shooting stars, while just lying there hand in hand, not saying a word, just listening to the crackling of the fire. And then after they'd enjoyed their time away, enjoyed their solitude from the hustle and bustle of everyday life, they held on to that experience and the inner knowledge they gained from their experience, and travelled back to their ordinary lives. And on arrival back at home, they continued talking about their experience. And that night, they went to bed, arm in arm, and drifted and floated peacefully and comfortably asleep.